This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
First at 11, Central Indiana is preparing for snow. NDOT says it will have 55 trucks out on the interstate starting at 3 o'clock this morning. And the Department of Public Works is out now pre-treating roads around Indianapolis.
Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory is helping you prepare for this latest blast of winter weather.
He joins us now with the Storm Team 6 alert. Kevin.
And snow arriving just before the morning drive, especially from Indy to the northwest. There's the probability of snow first thing in the morning. That's sky high. Let me take you through the timeline. Overnight, there's your expanding area of snow. The pink represents a rain-snow mix. Southeast of Indy, more likely still some rain at 7 a.m. Then by 10, expanding, including much more of central Indiana, and that's the trend. And where we see the snow, visibilities may drop quickly, and we'll start to see the accumulating snow. 32 first thing in the morning at the bus stop. Temperatures in the afternoon with snow still falling in the low 30s. Here's the latest, about a 2 to 3 inch snowfall in the metro area, 3 to 4 northwest of Indianapolis. I think south and east of Indy, you're looking at 1 to 2. The rest of the timeline coming up.
Now, it's not so much a question of if this will happen anymore, but rather more a question of exactly when this will happen.
Not if, but when. That's what the Centers for Disease Control is now saying about the possibility of the coronavirus spreading in the U.S. There are more than 80,000 cases reported worldwide, including more than 2,700 deaths. And while there have been more than 50 coronavirus illnesses in the U.S. so far, none in Indiana and no fatalities, the CDC warns businesses, hospitals, and communities need to be prepared for an outbreak.
And that warning is raising new questions and fears about the disease here in the U.S. Working for you, RTV6's Cameron Riddle is getting answers. Cameron.
Amanda, good evening. As the coronavirus continues to dominate the headlines, quarantines, lockdowns, daily death toll updates, and now an alarming warning from the CDC. It's all hiding the fear and the confusion in the U.S. about what the virus is and what it isn't. Tonight, here's what we do know. There are cases of coronavirus here in the U.S., and many of them, and any of us that is, can get that virus. There is no vaccine yet, and it is unclear whether antiviral medicines will be effective. Although the coronavirus has now spread to over 24 countries, the majority of the confirmed cases and deaths are occurring in mainland China. Doctors describe the symptoms of coronavirus as very similar to pneumonia, ranging from mild symptoms like coughs to serious issues like fever and difficulty breathing. The virus is most commonly spread from person-to-person contact. That includes coughing, sneezing, shaking hands, and touching.
The only thing that's really going to protect you is if you clean your hands before you touch your face, period.
The CDC is also asking local leaders to make sure they have systems in place for things like working remotely if we get to that point, and closing public places, including schools. RTV6 has already reached out to our state and city officials to see what their plans are in the event that there is an outbreak here in Indiana. Tonight, we are still waiting to hear back.
And Cameron, is this something like the flu where we should be washing down all the surfaces? Or?
Absolutely. This thing we're touching here that we all touch, that you and Kevin and we all touch, this is something that we should definitely be washing down frequently, because we all touch this, and then you know what the next place I'm going to go touch is the doorknob, and so will you, and so will he, and so will he.
Touch all those public spaces, clean them up.
Wash them down.
Okay. Thank you, Cameron.
How to fight the virus is sparking a debate in Washington. President Trump is now asking Congress for $2.5 billion to fight the disease. The president is optimistic about the situation. The top Democrat in the Senate is critical of the administration's response.
I think that whole situation will start working out. A lot of talent, a lot of brain power is being put behind it. $2.5 billion we're putting in is a very good chance you're not going to die. Now they have it. They have studied it. They know very much. In fact, we're very close to a vaccine.
There is no plan. The administration has no plan. They have cut back repeatedly on our lines of defense, whether it is in the CDC or in the National Security Council.
The CDC has issued its highest travel warning, saying Americans should avoid all non-essential travel to mainland China and South Korea. You can keep up with the latest information about the coronavirus at theindychannel.com.
New at 11, the South Bend man charged in the death of his granddaughter after she fell out of a cruise ship window plans to plead guilty. A date for the change of plea hearing for Salvatore Anello is not set yet. 18-month-old Chloe Wiegand fell and died in July when the cruise ship was docked in Puerto Rico. Anello has said he did not realize the window was open. His attorney released a statement saying the decision to plead guilty was incredibly difficult, but because the agreement includes no jail time and no admission of facts, it was decided it's in the best interest of the family.
A proposal that would make it illegal for you to hold and use your cell phone while driving in Indiana is one big step closer to becoming law. Today, the state Senate voted in favor of the bill. It would broaden the current ban on texting while driving in Indiana. That law does not include things like emailing or using apps, and officials say it is unenforceable. Last month, we talked to a woman who's been advocating for years for such a law. Kelly Sires' husband was hit and killed by a car in 2011. An investigation found the driver was distracted using his phone moments before the crash.
No one is good at texting or driving or emailing and driving. Driving is a privilege, and that we need to be safe when we're doing it.
You could still use Bluetooth or hands-free technology under the proposal. The House must still give final approval to the bill before it goes to Governor Eric Holcomb. We're hearing more concerns about a future transportation project in Indianapolis. The Blue Line will run across the city east to west. It will impact parts of Washington Street. It's not scheduled to be built for a couple of years, but some business owners are already anticipating the worst. Indigo says change is necessary to better serve the community.
As a business owner, I'm deeply concerned that they want to take away 3 lanes of the road to turn over to Indigo for dedicated bus lanes and for the center stations. That's going to destroy businesses throughout here and it deeply inconvenience residents.
The Route 8 that currently serves West Washington Street is one of our highest ridership routes. So we recognize that there is certainly a need for improved transit to help move people through that corridor more efficiently.
The plan to reduce lanes only impacts a portion of the proposed Blue Line route along Washington Street.
The 16-year-old boy charged with killing 2 teenage siblings on the northeast side of Indianapolis has accepted a plea deal. The details of the agreement in the Lametria Sanders case have not been made public. He is charged as an adult in the murders of Ashlyn and Nicholas Nelson. They were shot to death in August in their apartment near 42nd and Post. The plea deal will not be official until a judge accepts the terms. A change of plea hearing is set for March 11th. And police say a woman suffered life-threatening injuries when her van slammed into a state trooper's police car early this morning. ISP says officers from the Cass County Sheriff's Department tried to stop the van as it weaved through lanes just before 1 this morning on State Road 35 near State Road 24. The driver did not stop and led police on a chase. It ended when the van slammed into a marked state police cruiser. No one else was hurt.
After finding a dog who once saved his owner's life on death's door, a local animal shelter is sharing a message for pet owners who may be struggling. We first introduced you to 15-year-old Romeo in November of 2016. Firefighters say he woke his owner after a fire started in their home on Fletcher Avenue. Eventually, the family could not take care of Romeo anymore, so they gave him away. He was eventually given to Leanne's Animal Rescue, suffering from malnourishment, dehydration, and a severe infection. Leaders with the rescue say if you cannot care for your pet, ask for help before it's too late.
Even if it's a Facebook post, I need help. You know, my dog doesn't have food, or I need help, my dog keeps getting pregnant. I will do anything in my power to get them spayed, to get the puppies homes, to get them all microchips.
Leanne's Animal Rescue has a list of resources for pet owners on their website, and you can find a link at theindychannel.com.
A heated stage in South Carolina tonight during the 10th Democratic debate. The frontrunner, Senator Bernie Sanders, took hits from all sides, but ABC's Trevor Alt shows you candidates wasted no time attacking any and all of their opponents.
With his newfound status at the top of the Democratic field, Senator Bernie Sanders walked into a hornet's nest at Tuesday's CBS News debate.
Vladimir Putin thinks that Donald Trump should be president of the United States, and that's why Russia is helping you get elected so you'll lose to him.
Bernie and I both want to see universal health care, but Bernie's plan doesn't explain how to get there, doesn't show how we're going to get enough allies into it, and doesn't show enough about how we're going to pay for it.
If you think the last 4 years has been chaotic, divisive, toxic, exhausting. Imagine spending the better part of 2020 with Bernie Sanders versus Donald Trump.
I'm hearing my name mentioned a little bit tonight. I will tell you, Pete, what the American people want, and Joe, what the American people want. They don't want candidates to be running to billionaires for huge amounts of funding.
But Sanders wasn't the only candidate targeted. Former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg again in the crosshairs of Senator Elizabeth Warren.
At least I didn't have a boss who said to me, kill it. The way that Mayor Bloomberg
never
alleged
said
to
that.
have said to one of his pregnant employees.
The heated discourse frequently boiling over in a way not seen in previous debates. The candidates often fighting to speak over one another.
If we spend the next 4 months tearing our party apart, we're going to watch Donald Trump spend the next 4 years tearing our country apart.
And ahead of South Carolina's primary, former Vice President Joe Biden holding on to the top spot in state polls and promising,
if you don't win South Carolina, will you continue in
I will win South Carolina.
And this debate was particularly important, not only because it's the last one before South Carolina's primary on Saturday, it's also the last one before Super Tuesday, with more than 30% of the delegates up for grabs. Trevor Auld, ABC News, New York.
Now coming up, Indiana is one of dozens of states joining together to investigate a major vaping company.
Rhythm of his voice gets in your head like almost no one else's. I've probably heard Alex talk to me more than my wife, honestly.
The Jeopardy GOAT visits Central Indiana, sharing behind-the-scenes secrets from the iconic game show and life advice for people of all ages. You're watching RTV6 News at 11.
Be responsible. This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
Indiana is among the dozens of states teaming up for a widespread investigation into a popular e-cigarette company. ABC's Romina Puga shows you what officials in Connecticut say they found after looking into the marketing and sales of products made by Juul Labs.
The damage has been done.
Months into an investigation into vaping company Juul, Connecticut's Attorney General said this Tuesday,
We have a youth vaping epidemic that is sweeping the country.
The 39-state coalition will look at to what extent Juul has marketed itself as an effective smoking alternative, arguing that the company was never approved by the Food and Drug Administration to advertise itself as a smoking cessation device.
There is a large corporation that's looking to make money off of our young people, and we need to make sure that those folks are held accountable.
A recent study found that Juul use increased last year, despite warnings of how dangerous vaping can be.
I didn't really believe it at first. It just didn't make sense, because why didn't it happen to other people that had been vaping for years? Why didn't it happen to someone else close to me that I was hitting their stuff? So how did the chemicals affect me and not them?
17-year-old Daniel Ahmet was a healthy high school athlete. He's now recovering from a double lung transplant, believed to be the first related to vaping.
Like, I have to take over 20 medications a day. I have to wear a mask in public for at least a year.
Over the last year, Juul has halted its television, print, and digital advertisements and eliminated most flavors in response to government officials' concerns. According to the Wall Street Journal, the company now plans to present to federal regulators a new version of its vaporizer designed to only unlock for users over the age of 21. Connecticut's Attorney General says if the investigation leads to a settlement, that money will go toward treatment, prevention, and education. Romina Puga, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Indiana Attorney General Curtis Hill released a statement about the coalition saying, quote, vaping poses significant health concerns and it's intended only as an alternative to smoking tobacco. Young Hoosiers need to be aware of these risks. We must encourage them to avoid these products, which should only be aimed at adults who want to quit smoking cigarettes and other tobacco products, end quote.
State officials and advocates are raising awareness about a little-known resource for pregnant women. Today was the first Doula Day at the State House. A doula supports pregnant women in many ways.
We're here to give them education about their bodies, education about their babies, their pregnancy, labor and delivery after that. So it's more about just education, them being able to answer their own questions when they go to the doctor, and even knowing what questions to ask, because sometimes they just don't know what questions to ask.
Supporters say utilizing doulas is one way to reduce Indiana's high infant and maternal mortality rates, especially among Black women. And the state health commissioner says last year, Indiana became the 3rd state to extend Medicaid coverage to doula services. Half of pregnant women in Indiana are covered under Medicaid, but do not know this service is available to them.
We know that not being able to put food on the table, being worried about paying your utilities, or the ability to be able to, keep your lights turned on, keep a roof over your family's head, can oftentimes interfere with getting into pregnancy care and sustaining that care for yourself and for your newborn baby.
For more information about pregnancy support services and resources through the Department of Health, go to theindychannel.com and click on this story.
New at 11, Jeopardy's greatest champion shares some of his secrets to success during a visit to central Indiana, including the keys to working that famous buzzer.
You cannot buzz as soon as you know it. That would be nice, but you can't. You have to wait for Alex to finish reading the clue. At the moment he does, some assistant somewhere flips a switch, thereby activating the buzzers. And then and only then can you buzz. If you buzz early, if you buzz when it's not activated, you get locked out for a fraction of a second.
Ken Jennings spoke tonight at a free event on the DePaul University campus. It was open to the entire community, not just students. He shared this advice for the audience about the value of learning.
It's important on Jeopardy to answer in the form of a question, but I think it's important to live your life in the form of a question as well. Always inquisitive, always engaged in the world around you, learning no matter where you are. You can be learning something new from a billboard, from the back of a cereal box, from a podcast. It does not have to be in a classroom.
And he is so right. I learned
like
so
that.
much as a kid by reading the backs of cereal boxes.
I mean, you can learn stuff every day.
Yeah.
I'm going to quiz you tomorrow.
I learn so much from Kevin all the time with your random facts.
2 minutes and 30 seconds of knowledge coming your way.
Right.
No, what is difficult to forecast in the winter?
The snowfall?
Wait a minute. See,
What is snow?
What is snow? You got it. There's my alibi.
Oh.
36, that's temperature in Indy. We're above freezing everywhere. We fall asleep tonight with no snow in central Indiana. We wake up tomorrow morning with snow arriving across central Indiana. Let's take a look then at our snowfall potential. Again, another way of looking at this, northwest of Indianapolis, 3 to 4 inch snowfall potential. That'd be Peru, Lafayette, through Anderson, Muncie, even Newcastle, to the east of Indy. Rockville, Greencastle, Danville, the Indy metro area, right along Interstate 70, basically from west to east across the state, 2 to 3 inch potential. Once you get south and southeast of Indianapolis, 1 to 2, including Columbus, Franklin, Martinsville, and Bloomington. 7 a.m., there's the snow arriving. Notice south and east of Indy, there's not much there yet. This will expand, and it's a pretty sharp line, though, by 10 a.m., and then early afternoon, you'll begin to see the spin of this as more snow forms on the back edge of the whole system as it pulls away. And I think one of the reasons you'll have a little more accumulation to the north and northeast will be the duration of the snow will last a little bit longer. Storm Shield app and the RTV6 app, very helpful in these situations if there are any delays in the morning. Of course, you can check the app, but Good Morning Indiana starts at 4:30 a.m. as well. Temperatures tomorrow in the low 30s through the day. Temperatures do drop below freezing as we get later in the day. That would lead to conditions changing quickly on the roadways. With the wind and the snow, visibility will drop at times well below a mile. The wind will gust close to 30 miles per hour. Thursday, we're dry during the daylight hours. Temperatures much colder, staying in the upper 20s. I want to point out, we're focused so much on tomorrow, that Thursday night into Friday morning, some light snow potential slides through and then exits quickly on Friday. As you look at Friday's high, 33 degrees. Over the weekend, we show potential to warm up. 45 on Sunday, not the warmest temperature in my forecast. That will come Monday and Tuesday. But as the temperature comes back up, our rain chance will increase as well. 52 Monday, 56 on Tuesday. Good Morning Indiana at
4:30
a.m.
Tune in. They'll have the latest for you. Thanks, Kevin, for that.
Hey, Dave.
Hi, guys. Good evening to you. You know, some things you just can't explain. You know, how bicycles work, why cold pizza tastes so good the next morning, and The Pacers' last two games, losing by 40, over 40 on Sunday, and nearly winning by 40 tonight. Hosting the Hornets, Jeremy Lamb out for the season with a knee injury, sat in the suites with his family, still trying to figure out when he's going to have that surgery. This crystallized the night. Miles Turner with one of his career-high 8 blocks tonight. And on the other end, Malcolm Brogdon leaves it for T.J. Warren. Brogdon had 7 assists, Warren 19 points. And how often do you see Doug McDermott take it down the lane for the jam? His dad, Greg, was at the game. Doug had 10 points. Domas Sabonis nearly had a triple-double as the Pacers bounced back 119-80. They host the Blazers Thursday night. Scientists can't figure out how bicycles work. Look it up. Google it. Hey, big night for Hoosier Hoop hysteria. Evansville Reitz point guard Christian Lander announces a commitment to IU tonight, choosing the Hoosiers over Michigan, Memphis, and Louisville. And we featured Monrovia forward Josh Smith tonight at 6. On senior night, the Stetson recruit had 13 points and 14 rebounds in the win. Big one in Carmel tonight. The Greyhounds hosting 4 number 8 Crispus Attucks. Carmel and White, huge night for Jackson Jansen, the only senior on senior night at Carmel. More from him in a second. Attucks answers Jalen Carson from 15 feet out. But you had to stop Jansen. How about a game high 26 points? And how about an old-fashioned give and go? Bryce Berry, Charlie Williams, hoop and harm. Final tune-up before sectionals. Carmel, the season-high 75 points. They win 75-52. And the MIC finale on the northwest side, Pike hosting Warren Central. Bill Zick's guys, they played them tight. It was close to midway through the second half. Warren to the dark unis. Elijah Ray here with a drive down the lane. And then, wait for it. Wait for it. Little pressure here, and it's Ray again. Reverse lane. Suddenly, Warren's up 15, and the Warriors win 63-53. They're now 16-5. They get Tech in the sectional opener a week from tonight. Hey, finally tonight, first and foremost, back to the Pacers game. And how cool was this? Former IU star Cody Zeller meeting up with some folks at Riley Children's Hospital, and the shoes he wore up for auction. A variety of IU and Indiana scenes on there. Went for 15 grand for the hospital. We'll have more on that coming up tomorrow night right here on RTV6. And the NFL Combine continues. Big night for steakhouses tonight.
Those shoes have been perfect birthday gift for this guy.
The shoes were good.
They look good on him.
Absolutely.
We'll be right back.
For 72 months on select F-150 models.
Hiring Hoosiers connects you to career opportunities in different ways you can work.
Thanks to technology, more people can do their jobs from the comfort of their homes. Ashley Goggins is one of more than 8 million people in the U.S. who work remotely. Her company is headquartered in Chicago, but she works from her living room in San Diego.
Typically wake up around 6 o'clock in the morning and my calls start around 6:30. The great part about that is I don't have to spend time getting ready, eating breakfast right away, or sitting in the car.
Working from home has become such a popular trend. One study found that some employees were willing to take an 8% pay cut for the opportunity. Money saved by working remotely may help even out that loss. A survey from Career Builder found that the cost of simply going to work, for example, wear and tear on your car, gas, taking the bus, or buying lunch, can add up to about $3,300 a year.
It's that time of the year. Lowe's is looking to hire nearly 1,000 seasonal workers across central Indiana for the spring rush. Walk-in hiring events will be held on Wednesday, March 4th and Saturday, March 7th from 10 to 7 on both days. You can also apply online. We have a link to that application on our website, hiringhoosiers.com. We'll be right back.
No surprises, well advertised. Snow arrives tomorrow morning. Temperatures through the day right around the freezing mark. That will help somewhat on the roadways. Accumulating snowfall in the metro area, maybe 2 to 3 inches. There's the temperature trend. And again, if we have any school delays, I think what will happen is it's just getting started then, so that seems more unlikely, but may have an impact on after-school events.
Bundle up out there. It's going to be around freezing, so be ready for that.
The good news is Gregory's shoveling.
Yeah. We put him to work.
Well, and a happy birthday to Kevin Green.
Oh, that's right.